A perfectly happy, married family sits down for dinner at night. They discuss their days, what is coming up in school the next few weeks, and the basics of everyone's lives. The father helps his son with his math homework after a long day of shuttling his kids back and forth from dance lessons to sports practices. The children are automatically set up to grow into wonderful, accomplished adults. Oblivious to a world not far from their own home, they don't realize their luck. On the complete opposite side of the spectrum, but only a few miles out, teenagers raised in the Southside of Chicago experience abuse or violence from a young age. Parents raising their children in the Southside of Chicago are automatically set at a disadvantage. The extreme violence and crime in this part of the city affect most teenagers raised here. Teens growing up without the influence of two parental figures have it even worse because they are so exposed.
People were wounded in shootings across the city. There was also a couple of stabbings reported over the 72-hour period. There is about 4.5 weeks left before the Memorial Day holiday is upon us. And these weekend stats are just a preview of what is to come this summer in Chicago.
Last night, Chicago passed 1,000 shootings for 2017.
Is this a war-torn country? What are we doing?
I figure, I don't know, I guess I sounded seen all types of death. I don't think it's even affect me like it should anymore.
In Chicago, 51% of all children live in single-parent homes. Many Chicagoans believe that the lack of family support is to blame for the violence and failure. One Chicago Tribune article mentioned, the most important reasons part of the south and west sides are the way they are is because of the breakdown of family. As stated by the Tribune article, when compared to children in intact married homes, children raised by single parents are more likely to have emotional and behavioral problems, this proving the inequality between married and separate homes due to family and home life. Gang members tend to come from families where they feel neglected or alienated, feelings that are associated along with single-parent homes where the inequality is born.
I've never, out of all the years of my life, ever seen this many children die before their parents.
We need to bring those young people that we're talking about into the room and talk to them.
This past year in Chicago, crime rates jumped from 2015 58%. Murders in the city were the highest they've been for over 2 decades. Homicides jumped from 478 deaths to 2015 to 758 in 1 year. Studies show that a disturbing amount of the crime was committed by children that are raised in single-parent homes.
You don't know who to trust or who not to trust.
If you leave the house without this, it's
you
like
get killed.
It's like you basically saying shit, fuck my life. You know what I'm saying?
So when you wake up in the morning, when do you first grab that?
As soon as you put on your clothes, it's like putting your clothes on. How you bend down to tie your shoe, how you go in the bathroom to wash your face and brush your teeth, that go on your hip like you putting your belt on. The last thing you doing is worried about the police. I'd rather do a few years in the penitentiary than life in a cemetery. You know what I'm saying?
To grow up in the city without the presence of two parental figures is a struggle in itself. Without another parental figure, children struggle with the lack of influence and income, making life harder for them. Poverty is creeping slowly behind these families. In 1965, the proportion of African American children born out of wedlock was 24%. Today, nationally, it's 72%. Nor is the phenomenon unique to African Americans. Among Hispanics, 53% of births are to unmarried women. This is not because single parents are generally unloving, incompetent, or uninvolved in their children's lives. It's because rearing kids, a tough task for even two parents, is far more formidable for only one.
The violence is largely committed by young men of all colors, often abandoned by fathers and brought up in squalor and chaos, and then they act out in savage ways.
Get into the poorest communities imaginable, and here what you'll find: fatherlessness, broken marriages, absentee dads.
You know, the children who grow up without a father are more likely to live in poverty, they're more likely to drop out of school, they're more likely to wind up in prison.
Study after study subsequent to this report has shown that the instances of teen pregnancy, drug abuse, school dropout rates, involvement with the criminal justice system rose alarmingly when fathers weren't present in the home.
Two completely different settings live in a 30-minute radius of one another. One suffers through lack of influence and parent love, while the other is completely oblivious to the world outside of their bubble.
6-year-old child, apparently on a basketball court in Cornell Square Park.
Rob, this seems to be part of an ongoing gang war that's been plaguing this stretch of Chicago Avenue. A shooting that claimed another life